That's a great question. Since 2022, there's been an explosion of behind-the-wheel training providers who are registered, yet may not be licensed in the state they're in. So the first thing you want to ask in any BTW school to get your CDL training, ask the simple question, are you licensed in this state? And may I see a copy of this license? Any reputable school is going to be very excited to show you that license. Typically, schools are licensed either by the Department of Motor Vehicles or the Department of Education in that state. Very important to ask that question. Not necessarily. The FMC knows about this and it's a problem they're trying to correct, but people can be licensed with the FMCSA, yet not licensed at the state level. They're working on doing that checking and confirming, but you as the consumer and the student, you need to ask that before you enroll or before you pay any money at a school. Great question. That's another question I would ask going in and say, what is your first time pass rate on the CDL skills exam? A good reputable school should be 70 to 75% or higher first time pass rate on the CDL skills exam. And then as a follow-up question, okay, for those students that aren't successful on their first CDL skills exam attempt, what's your second time pass rate? That should be pretty close to 90% or higher, assuming that the school helps you in between those exams and remediates you and provides refresher training. At BTW schools, we had a lifetime refresher policy. And most reputable schools will do that, right? And we had conditions around it, when you could take advantage of it, why you could take advantage of it. But typically it was for students who originally took a long haul over the road job right out of school, and then after about 5 to 6 months had a local interview lined up. Those local employers are gonna give you a driving test when they interview you. And our policy was simply this: you would have the appointment set up or the interview set up a few days before. You could come in and attend one of our range sessions, get used to backing up the trucks, and just kind of get warmed up for your job interview. We did that because we knew it was a great idea to have experienced quality students working in the local market, and that's why our programs thrived. So a good reputable BTW school should have this policy, and they should put it in writing also. Well, yes and no. A good quality behind the wheel program should have a strong placement program. It's part of what you're paying for, really. In my schools that I ran, we had it arranged so that students, prior to even starting class in many cases, were actually pre-hired by an employer. That means you knew you had a job waiting for you at the end of that program. We had a schedule set up so that if you finished on a Thursday, literally you could be starting your job that following Monday. So that's what I consider a strong placement program, if that's something that you want. Many students are already working, they have a job lined up, it's not important to them. But it's important to get the details from the behind the wheel school that you're considering. What does your placement program look like? How does it work? And how does it benefit me? First step is handling and taking care of your entry-level driver training theory, which you can do in our course online, and getting your CLP, your commercial learner's permit. Once you do those two things, then you can start behind the wheel training at a reputable behind the wheel truck driving school.
Is ELDT theory mandatory, or is that just to help me learn the basics?
Mandatory. Since February 7th, 2022, it's mandatory that all new drivers must take entry-level driver training theory from a registered, approved provider. You can do that online with our course, or you can take the more traditional step and sit in a classroom for anywhere from 7 to 8 days, 8 to 10 hours a day, and listen to the information being presented to you. Well, time affordable and price affordable. By time, I mean you can navigate our course online when you want, how you want, where you want. In the traditional setting, you would have to get in a car or get on a bus, commute to a truck driving school, generally very early in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, sit in class anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, and then go home. In our case, you can do that same content online from your mobile phone, from your tablet, from your desktop when you want. That way, then the only commuting you're doing is just for what many consider the fun part, the behind the wheel training. The second great reason for doing it online is not only does it save you time, okay, it saves you time of the hassle of commuting, it can save you money. Typical truck driving school will charge several $1,000s. In most cases, it's $5,000 to $6,000 for 160 hours of training. 50 to 60 hours of that training would be live classroom, okay? So by taking an online program, you're actually getting credit and bypassing that. That's a great question to ask your BTW provider. How much time and money will it save me if I come in with these qualifications already? A reputable school will give you an hour for hour credit and typically anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 off the stated tuition from the reports we've heard from students. Well, it's as easy as navigating the CDL process. And like I said, if you're looking at a reputable BTW program, they should have a strong placement program that moves you from starting in your BTW training to actually finishing up not only with your license, but walking you into a job. On our website, in the Career Guidance Lounge, we have some information about the job search, and in our online program, we talk about employment in the industry. Even though it's not required by ELDT, many students have asked us for this information, so take advantage of it. On our Career Guidance Lounge, we have some information on the different types of jobs you can encounter out there in the industry, as well as my personal experience with 4 major employers that do hire students with 0 experience. So I suggest you check that out.